Welcome back. A doctor charged with giving Matthew Perry ketamine in the month leading up to his death has agreed to plead guilty. Let's get some more. Here's our entertainment editor, Peter Ford. Pete, this is a major development.
Yes, so this is a doctor called Dr. Salvatore Placencia, and he was supplying huge amounts of ketamine to Matthew Perry. Now, that is the drug that was considered to be the main reason why he died. Now, he was being given that drug by his regular doctor, but obviously in the correct dosage. It was making him feel good, so he wanted to have more. That doctor wouldn't give him more, so he found Dr. Placencia. Now, he also found another person who was giving him the ketamine as well. Now, that other person has pled not guilty, but Dr. Salvatore Placencia is going to plead guilty to 4 counts of supplying it, and it does have a 40-year maximum jail sentence. So it's a very big development in the whole story, the tragic story and the tragic death of Matthew Perry.
Oh, yeah, it certainly is. And Grey's Anatomy favourite Eric Dane, Pete, has opened up in a really emotional interview. He's discussing his ALS diagnosis and some of the effects.
Yes, and it looks like it's having a much bigger impact on him already than we'd thought, because he talked only a matter of a month or two ago about the fact he was going to continue working, life would stay as normal as it can for as long as he can do it. But already he's talking about the fact that it's having a massive impact on his mobility and his functioning. Now, of course, he had to get that diagnosis, and that itself was a long, drawn-out process, as he describes here to Diane Sawyer.
I didn't really think anything of it. At the time, I thought maybe I'd been texting too much or my hand was fatigued. But a few weeks later, I noticed it had gotten a little worse. So I went and saw a hand specialist who sent me to another hand specialist. I went and saw a neurologist, and the neurologist sent me to another neurologist and said, this is way above my pay grade.
And of course, this is a disease here in Australia. We refer to it as motor neurone disease, and it's one of the really bad ones. And it's not a good prognosis down the track. That's the reality. So he needs a good support system. Now, his wife, Rebecca Gayhart, is actually that main rock for him at the moment. Even though they did separate in 2018, it looks like, I don't know if they're officially back together, but there's no doubt that she is really the one who is helping him get through this tough time. Have a look at this.
Who's the person you call when it hits your heart?
I call Rebecca. I talk to her every day. We have managed to become better friends and better parents. And she is probably my biggest champion and my most stalwart supporter.
Yeah, so it's a very powerful interview, and of course we send out our good thoughts to non-famous people who may be watching us today who deal with that same condition themselves.
All right, and Pete, in other entertainment news, some big news around for AC/DC fans.
Yeah, well, this is going to be a lot of fun. So AC/DC are definitely touring Australia at the end of the year, November into December. They haven't toured here for 10 years, so that in itself is going to be fantastic. But there's a plan afoot to recreate the famous, I guess, video clip. I don't know if we even called them video clips back then, 50 years ago, when they got on the back of the truck and they went down Swanston Street in Melbourne. Now, you look at that and you can see a lot of those buildings have gone. Some are still there. Some of the old trams are still rattling around, but mostly it's the new ones now. So it's a great time capsule of Melbourne way back when. The plan is to recreate that 50 years almost exactly, where they will get back on the back of the truck. I think half of Melbourne will turn out and line Swanston Street to be a part of that. Now, AC/DC really they certainly did form themselves in Sydney and got their biggest breaks in Sydney, but a huge part of it was in Melbourne as well, where Melbourne had a great pub scene back in the 70s. And certainly there's even an AC/DC lane in Melbourne. Yeah. So we love them. So let's hope that does happen when we'll all line Swanston Street and welcome them back to town.
Hey, yeah, it'll be very different though, won't it? Like, back then they would have jumped on the truck, had a shot of tequila and gone.
Yeah. No council permits.
Now it'll be high-vis vests. I'll have to wear helmets and be harnessed to the truck.
Yeah, that's true.
Good on you, Pete. Thank you.
Good old days. Everything's so boring now.